Okay, everybody, tutorial time. I'm going to be going over Dragonframe in quite a few videos coming up. And this is just going to be kind of an intro primer and get you up and running and get your first set built and or your first scene built. And then to kind of go through and just kind of show you around a little bit so you have a better idea of what's going on with the other tutorials. So the first thing you're going to want to do, you're going to want to go to dragonframe.com. I did that. All right, here we go. Dragonframe.com. Now, we're just going to go to the main site here. You know, they've got a lot of really good information. Just so you know, they're over here, they've got a support list section, and it's got a ton. Their FAQ is incredibly good. There's an enormous amount of information to find in there, user guide, and you'll see what kind of cameras you can support and all that kind of thing. But absolutely make sure you check this out because you're going to get a lot of good information in here. Then also when you're going to be downloading it, I recommend going to dragonframe.com/dev. And these are the development branch downloads. These are the ones that are a work in progress, and these are the ones that are going to have all the good bug fixes and things like that. So depending on if you're Windows or Mac, you choose the appropriate one. It'll down, then you go through the installation process. Once it is installed, you can go ahead and launch it. Let me bring that over. So I've got some other older scenes on here, but we're going to be building a brand new one for this one. Just also, by default, the scenes, the number of characters you can use for the name is incredibly short. So I always recommend going into Preferences and then go down to, where's it, Naming, and up this, because I think by default it's going to be 3 and it just feels kind of short. So if you can come in here and adjust how many characters it's going to accept, and when you're done, just hit exit out. There's no save or anything like that. But we're going to go ahead and do a new scene, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a name. So I'm going to say Dragon Tutorial, Fraggin' Toot, Dragon Tut. Okay. And I don't need to put anything else in here, but I'm going to go at 30 frames per second. If you need to change this, you can later within, but it's easiest just to get that where you need it right now. Go ahead, accept, and then I'm going to do where I'm going to put it. So in here, this is my holding cell. This is just one of my larger NVMe drives that I can go into, and I just keep all my Dragonframe stuff in here. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in this one, and it's going to launch. And yours is probably not going to come up with this little complaint. And in fact, yours is probably not going to see a camera either. In fact, let's just go ahead and make sure we're doing all of this from scratch. So I'm going to go to Scene, Cameras, and we're just going to unplug that. Okay, so this should be similar to how yours looks. Okay, so Dragonframe is essentially a stopware software, or a stop motion animation software, and it's a really incredibly powerful program. There's an enormous amount of stuff you can do with it. I've been using this professionally every day for probably about 9 years, and I normally have 4 or 5 Dragonframe sets up and running and filming at any given time. So this has been a really wonderful software package. It's made my life very easy. Well, let's just say it's made it a lot easier than dealing with memory cards and stuff. When you first come into it, you're going to be taken to the animation page, and you see it here. These are the different pages. You have animation, art motion control, DMX, cinematography, and you got another one that I have hidden right now, which is the audio. Because I actually don't ever use this, and I do not have any tutorials for this portion. So my use is just not with stop motion animation, but botanic time-lapse photography. No, I want to see that, and let's just get rid of audio. Okay. So those are the four main pages that you're going to be living in. So let's just go ahead and start with this. This is the animation page. Down on here, you're going to be able to review the footage as you capture it. You can make comparisons with other frames. There's all kinds of different things you can do in your composition guides to make sure that you have the correct format ratio for what you're doing. There really is a lot to do in here. We're going to go through all of this in depth. But this is where you're basically going to be viewing, playing, and replaying your footage when you want to watch it as a video. The next one I'm going to go over is going to be the cinematography page. Now this is where you're going to have your camera set up. You're going to have your live view through here. You're going to see all the different exposures that you've taken on your project, as well as you're going to get all your test shots and reference images. And there's a lot of different functions in here to kind of help you make sure that you got things lined up and looking the way that you want. And then you can also control the camera in here. You're going to have a histogram, and you have some other stuff in here, which I'm not going to go over all this right now. But this is where you're actually going to be able to see like the high resolution frames and things like that, and setting up the camera. The next page we're going to look at is arc motion control, and we are going to spend a lot of time in this page. This is where you build out all of your motion for your robots if you're using motion control, and I highly recommend you do. There's no reason not to. It's so fun to do. But yeah, we'll go over the process of connecting to a motion control device, and we'll discuss a lot of different systems that you can use. But this is where you're going to be basically setting up all your movement paths. Now over here, this is the DMX page, and you can actually put in full DMX lighting routines in here. It's absolutely fantastic. I use this quite a bit. You're going to need a DMX interface for this, either their DDMX 512, or if you have one of their DM16s or DMC32s, they will do it. I don't know if there's an Arduino option for that, but I know that there are some other methods to do DMX without just their equipment. We'll just have to explore that. Anyway, so these are the pages you're pretty much going to be living in. I'm going to go ahead and end this tutorial. So you got your first scene set up, and next we're going to go through things like setting up camera, setting up robot, and all those kind of things. So thanks for watching.